Elden Ring real estate ranges from great to questionable to will literally give you cancer. But hey, you gotta live somewhere. So I'm going to take a look at 6 different locations from the Elden Ring DLC and rate them on how homey they are. Hello everyone, I'm Lost. 2 rules here. First, we are basically team enemy and mobs will not attack us on sight. We have achieved baseline friendship. Second, no major improvements to the locations are allowed. We can add some furniture, but we can't rebuild something major, like a roof. In the new Legacy dungeons provided by the DLC, we find a lot more cityscapes with indoor areas. As a hardcore enjoyer of the inside, I appreciate this, and one such area is the Divine Beast Workshop in downtown Ballarat. It's a solid building with a fairly large interior, and it comes with something of a surprise luxury. It has a door. This is something not a lot of locations have, so it's worth mentioning. It's a bit messy inside, with trinkets and baubles strewn around the place, but nothing a bit of spring cleaning can't fix. There is also a lot of shelf space here, so if you are so inclined, you could easily showcase that collection of vintage romance novels that you have. The workshop also comes with a kitchen area, pre-stocked with potatoes, scorpions, and a horn-sent grand dame who may or may not be in her sexual prime. She may also be a pro-jar racist, which might be off-putting to some people. And she smells like a mixture of cough medicine and imminent death. The Ballarat workshop easily covers all the basics, and quite frankly, would be the perfect place for me if it wasn't for my intense disdain for the elderly. 4 out of 5. I don't mind a roommate, but living with a special needs child makes me uncomfortable. It does eventually die though, so that's good. Still, this is just a cave in an awful location. 1 out of 5. Next up is this room in Castle Ensis. Oh, don't worry, I convinced him to leave. Let's start out with the single criticism that I have in regards to this place, and that is, it's very blue. That being said, this place offers both safety and comfort, and you have to be a single-digit IQ stupid to say no to that in this area. It's a decently sized room with a fireplace, a desk, and a bookshelf. Add a small bed in the corner and you're basically golden, nothing else to say. This is a 5 out of 5. I will admit to not being particularly fond of camping, so living in a tent is not exactly my first choice, but let's try to be positive, shall we, because there are a couple of interesting benefits to this place. We have a campfire, in fact we have 2 campfires if you count the burning dog. I do. The soldiers nearby does create a sense of safety, which is nice. The camp is located close to a cliff, which gives us a great view, and we can easily stay clean thanks to the organic shower. That's the positives. But still, it's a goddamn tent. 2.5 out of 5. It sounds great living in a cathedral, but the big empty space is a bit unsettling. It doesn't have that element of cozy. We do have these corners where you could add a bed and get some privacy, but there's also the Eldritch Finger monster who resides in a pocket dimension down below, but we try not to think about that. Still, I don't mind that as much as I mind the man sitting on the throne. He is a finger enthusiast, and I don't want to find out what that means. Unless it's by the dark katana weeb over there. This is very much down to personal taste, but for me, it's a 2.5 out of 5. At the top of the mountain, we find Prospect Town. I suppose it technically qualifies as a suburb to Ballarat. There we have this building. It's a solid stone structure that comes with quite a few jars and pots. It's a place that, while somewhat small, will for the most part protect you from the elements. It's large enough for a bed, and since it's entirely made out of stone, you could even have a small fire here for cooking. You do have some neighbors, which are a group of simple-minded molemen who belong to a cult worshipping the blood god, but still, they don't push the religion on you. They may get a little rowdy at times, but the main group is generally further into the town, so you don't really get a lot of noise. And as a bonus, there are plenty of wild goats in the nearby forest to pet. I love that, so that's a 3.5 out of 10. There you go. If you have any other suggestions for locations, leave them down in the comments. That way, I don't have to do any work myself. Remember to subscribe and like and all of that. I need you to like the video.